Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hanging out with these nerds.
Nathan Nerdarch.
Nerdarch is Ted.
And join us for the best of D&D Out of the Box encounters.
Jump down the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
Alright, so we're actually delving into nerdarchy.com for this one. Mike Gould is an amazing writer over on the site. And week after week, he has put forth things that you can put right in your game, in no prep time necessary, really. And at this point, you could do whole adventures just on what he's done. So he's got this series, Out of the Box D&D Encounters. Season 1, or... I guess he broke them into seasons. Is that what he did?
Mm-hmm. After he got
Series 1.
After he got to 52, he's like, all right, well, I'm starting Season 2. So those ones are actually labeled that. Right. The first ones aren't.
So as of right now, for free, you can actually go over to nerdarchy.com and download a full PDF of all of them and check that out. I don't know if it'll stay free forever. Who knows? He did a really great job. And it's well thought out. So we wanted to delve into that Season 1 series and pick out our favorites. So we each have a favorite. We're going to pick them out and let you guys, kind of give you a little insight into it. And then you guys can find the links in the description below and go check that stuff out.
Absolutely. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, what do you got?
So mine is the out of the box encounter is the girl with the dragon Snafu. And it starts off, he breaks it down into who's going to want to use this. So it's for a lower level party, and it can be for an extremely low level party, like a new level party, like 1 through 3, if you're not going to plan on doing combat stuff, because it does involve a dragon. But it involves a dragon in an interesting way. Basically, this girl is wearing a collar that's cursed, and she's actually a copper dragon. But she's a young copper dragon, and there's this whole kind of intrigue with fiends and incubus and things like that trying to get something out of the girl's father, and that's kind of the start of it. So you have to investigate. You have to kind of understand what's going on. There's discussion and talk, and there's this kind of, it's basically like investigation based on this occurrence.
So it sounds like a lot of like mystery, investigation, negotiation, diplomacy, role playing.
Yeah, a lot of RP and a lot of it'd be like, I could say you could do it strictly as RP and skill challenge, if you wanted to.
But wouldn't her father be a dragon?
Yes.
Just checking.
All right, so my favorite is number 23, Watchdog. Now, maybe it's my favorite because it involves Darren's Instant Fortress, one of my favorite magic items. Maybe it's because it's got a zombie T-Rex, and I like dinosaurs, and zombie T-Rexes are pretty darn cool if you ask me. But you mix all this stuff together, and you have one fantastic little, mini encounter adventure, because you can do so much more with it.
I would like to point out real fast for you guys, this was written and came out before we knew about Cholt and the Stream of Annihilation and the Tome of Annihilation or any of that stuff where we had zombie T-Rexes. Yeah.
So you can actually look, when you actually go to that article and see when that was actually published, because it was a while ago. But so here's how it works: the players, they're journeying to wherever they journey. They crest the top of a hill, and a massive tower stands before them. It's 30 foot tall, made of some amazing metal that they may or may not have encountered before. It's 20 foot on a side, and the door is locked. But it appears abandoned. There's arrow slits in it in both floors, and and on all sides. Players investigate. Should they try to pick the lock or, knock or whatever have you, they can gain entrance inside the fortress. Inside the first floor, there's the T-Rex, zombie T-Rex, I should say, and it's kind of the watchdog. It's the guard dog of the tower. Mike actually writes it so much that the wizard who previously owned the tower has either abandoned it or has left, so that whoever owns the tower could become a later adventure for the party should they decide to ransack the tower or find out that it actually is a Darren's Instant Fortress and learn the password and shrink it back down and take it along with. On the second floor, there is a dead body that's clearly a captive. It's been, manacled. And should the players actually cast Speak with Dead on it, it actually knows all the passwords to open doors and what have you, as well as to shrink the castle back down. It's really great. It opens it up to so many more options. And he writes it in a way that, okay, you've got the magic item right from the get-go, but you have to literally earn it, but you already see it. So depending upon how you want to run it, you could have someone figure out what it actually is before they actually go in to try and, clear it out and claim it. You could run it in a way that they have no idea that it's anything more than just a cool tower.
That is the great part about when Mike writes stuff. Like, he puts all this extra thought into it as, well, if this happens or that happens. And he kind of really lays it out for a dungeon master. If you're a new DM, these are really useful. I went with Aces High. I like this for several reasons. One is he actually introduces, like, a new weapon into the game with new rules for it, which is a lot of fun. Two, he introduces this band called the Skeeves Banshees. And also the location's a little different. The idea is you're on an airship.
Nice.
So whether you're in Ebron flying in an elemental airship or some kind of Zephyr or Zeppelin type airship, whatever the case may be, there's an airship, you're flying on it. And the idea is these guys are raiders and banshees and bandits, right? The banshees. So he does these really cool things. Like, one is they attack with light crossbows, alchemist fire pots, as well as the new weapon, the Grenado, which he introduces a new mechanic for. So the idea is these guys do strafing runs on the ship, and he actually, like, they have their own name for it. They call it slashes. And they just dive palm past it, and their initial goal is just to sow chaos amongst the ship, right? It's not necessarily to actually hurt or kill people, and and then so they're goblins, right? Wearing scarves and goggles, using light crossbows and flying on giant bats. On the underside of the wings is the motif to their company, to their band, which is a skull with bat wings on it.
Nice.
That they paint on the wings, and also they have bat wings painted on their helmets.
You keep saying band, I think of like.
Yeah. Well, group, I don't know company, I don't know what you want to call them.
They prestidigitation heavy metal music while they do it.
They would definitely be using heavy metal music. So one of the fun things that he does is the giant bats. They carry the clay pots of alchemist fire, and they're trained to drop them. So the bats are actually the ones attacking with alchemist fire. They're literally bombers.
That is awesome.
And then he's got the grenados, right? You throw the grenado, and then you roll initiative for the grenade. So depending, if you've gone already, but you get initiative higher than when you went, it happens on the next round. If the grenade gets to the initiative after you've gone, on that initiative count, the grenades blow up.
So I actually did read that one, and part of me wants to have that number secret, so the players have no clue when that's going to happen. But there's
I'd
also
say that's a really good way to do it.
But there's also an amusing angle of, well, if the players have a clue, what kind of comedic effects could wind up transpiring at the table? Should you wind up, having like a back and forth batting match with this thing?
Well, I mean, one way to do it would be like if someone actually is trained in Tinker Tools, maybe give them a check, and if they pass the DC, like they see the timer and where it's at, so then they know the initiative order. Otherwise there isn't really a reason for them to know. And the truth of the matter is, it's a black powder weapon. It may not be something that's like normal in your campaign, so they might not know what it is anyway. They're like, "What is this thing? It didn't do anything. It must be broke," or whatever.
And boom.
And then he always puts like different things like complications, what treasure they have, The idea that the goblins have parachutes, so if their bats get killed, they parachute away so that maybe they can come back. It points out the Skeeves is probably not a normal goblin, might have some class levels. And then he gives you some ways to ratchet up the combat and make it more challenging for high level parties. So Mike Gould is super thorough with these things.
Absolutely. And, if you actually read through, a bunch of them, you'll actually see that the terrain, the monsters, the levels, everything that he does, it's incredibly diverse. I actually, read one that was there was a Medusa bounty hunter who, turns her victims to stone. I'm like, that's amazing. I want to take that character and put that in the world because, he writes these things and creates NPCs that are just so much alive, so much more alive than other things that I've read, and including some published work stuff.
All I can say is check it out. It's really good. It's a great resource, and that's why we decided to highlight it because we feel like it should get a little more love, and you guys would benefit greatly from using it, especially if you're someone who likes pre-planned material or pre-written adventures. This stuff is really well. For the most part, he's using everything that's from the core, so there's nothing crazy there you have to worry about. He does come up with some different arbitrations for a DM to use. Even in Aces High, there's several different rules that get implemented for the bats when they make their slash attacks, which are basically them dive bombing. Where the players have disadvantage to attack them because they're moving so fast. You use 1 AC, and then there's a chance it'll hit the bat or hit the goblin. And then at the same time, the goblins also have disadvantage to attack anyone because they're moving so fast, which is fine because it goes right along with the idea is they just want to pepper the deck and sow chaos amongst everyone. And then you get to the end and it's like, well, what treasure does the monster have? Because he always includes that. And he's like, well, in the cases of Aces High, none. They're actually looking for treasure. So it's really good. It's really thorough. This is a great resource for your game.
So as Dave says, whether you're, looking to use, pre-planned materials, or if you're just stuck for an interesting encounter that you want to throw into your game, this is a great way to go.
Yeah, so at this point you can pick up something I think there's 60 or more encounters on the website. And we'll put the links in the description below. So, but the question is, guys, have any of you used these yet in your game? Will you use them? We have a place for that. It's called the comments. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can patronize us in a good way over on Patreon.
Or you can hang out with us over on Facebook.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.